Hello, friends. Welcome to our first partner check-in of the 2023-2024. Some people say school year. I call it the off season, but then again, we never really have an off season in camping. It's just kind of what's next. And what's next for us is we're going to check in with our partners, Deer Scout. And I've got Liz here with me today. For the folks who have not met you or Deer Scout, would you please introduce yourself and Deer Scout?
Yes, of course. Thanks for having us on. We're really excited to be partnering with you. So I'm Liz Kimmelman. I'm the president of Deer Scout, and I'm also the owner and director of Tumbleweed Day Camp, which is a day camp out in Los Angeles. So Deer Scout is a member-based employee benefit that we offer for summer camps throughout the country. And basically what it is as a camp, we have member camps that join on, and through your membership, your staff get access to teletherapy, so video therapy throughout the summer while they're working for you. It's an employee assistance program, basically, but it's a benefit that you as a camp offer to your staff. And so then they don't have to worry about accessing or paying for that service. That's something that you offer to them. And it's been fantastic. So we are in over 20 different states. This past summer, our camps included over 70,000 staff that could have reached out for care, and it's just been a huge growing pattern for us, and it's been a really wonderful opportunity to work with organizations like ACA New England to really build relationships and to get to do stuff like this.
That's awesome. If you're listening to this and not watching, she laughed there because my eyes got about the size of golf balls when she said 70,000. And you think about the kind of reach and what this service is and the potential reach it has. That's pretty mind-boggling. And whoever your friend is in the background, we are a dog-friendly studio here. So if somebody comes and joins us, that's perfectly fine. But you mentioned that you're not just a business owner and founder of Deer Scout, you're also a camp director. I mean, you're out in the field, you're doing it day in and day out. And so that's why I was super excited to kind of check in with you here at the end of October, early November, because we are starting to transition, figuratively, literally, the seasons are changing. And so what is on your mind and as you enter into this kind of quote unquote, like I say, not off season, but what's next for you and what should people be kind of thinking about?
Yeah, so for us at least, for day camp, and so I know that a lot of sleepaway camps might already be in the hiring vibe, but we're already starting to think about staff. We're starting to think about how are we promoting our camp as a brand, as a place that folks want to work at to prospective applicants. And so we're thinking about how are we putting ourselves out there as an organization that is showing that we care for our staff. We know that our staff really value a location and a place where they feel cared for and they feel valued, a place that they can grow. And so we're backwards engineering that a little bit and thinking about how are we doing that when we're thinking about recruiting, when we're thinking about our brand identity when it comes to our employer identity. And then the other thing too is, it's really there are some really wonderful things about owning and running a seasonal business, as you all know. And part of that is we get a little bit of time in September and October before things start to ramp up again to think big picture and to really settle in and chew on the things that we debriefed after the summer and really think about how were we meeting the needs of our staff and our campers through that. And so two things that we've been playing with a little bit is both the recruitment aspect and the logistics around that and really starting to ramp up and making sure that we're projecting ourselves as a place where folks are going to work. But then what goes with that is creating a space where we have a culture of care and we have a staff culture and an employee culture, that we are doing things that are really getting to the foundational base of how are we caring for our staff? What are the things that we're doing in the off season? What are the things that we're doing during the season that are really going to lead into folks feeling like they're cared for? Because that's what's going to also help with retention. And so I don't have to do as much recruitment if I have a good chunk of folks that want to come back because they feel like this is a place where they belong. They feel like this is a place where they can grow, and this is a place where they feel valued.
Somebody
So
has
those are
them.
the things that we're working on.
Yeah, I mean, that's a light lift. That's just a Tuesday afternoon for you, though.
Cool.
And I will absolutely publicly right here and now state that if you hear me use the phrase culture of care, I got it from Liz Kimmelman at Deer Scout, because I do love that phrase culture of care. A lot of conversations within the association and just around camping are about staff culture right now, specifically staff culture, because a lot of camps might know what their product is to their
Mhm.
primary customer, but obviously you have the staff as that secondary customer, or sometimes they're the primary customer, right? Like during the hiring season.
Right. Well, I mean, so first of all, during the hiring season, yeah, you have to shift your company brand outwardly facing towards that other customer, in quotes, because you are selling yourself to you want the best applicants, and you have to show off. You have to show that you're going to be a place where these amazing people want to work. You have to recruit them in that way. But on the flip side too, something to be said that, like, we know that happy staff means happy kids. And so if you're really just looking at your bottom line, which again, as a business owner, like, a lot of my decisions do come down to money. And so if I'm looking at that and I'm looking at wait lists and I want long wait lists and I want my camp to be filled, I know that's only going to happen when I can offer the best product, and the best product can only come with happy staff and cared for staff. And so, like, you're always, if you're always thinking about that and you're really recruiting towards that, what are you doing to make your product the best product it can possibly be? It can only be that way if you're caring for your staff and you're really diving into how is this part of your culture, and not just a one-off check thing of, oh, yep, we do staff appreciation snacks. And like that, it cannot just be a check off thing. It has to be integrated within the culture of your staff. And how are you leading through that culture to get a really awesome camper experience?
I love that. Happy staff make happy campers, because that is absolutely true. No, we know that we used to have a saying, there's nothing harder than being a cabin counselor or being a frontline counselor, in the camping world, where you're there, you're delivering it. And as as experienced camp professionals, we all have that confidence in our abilities because we've been doing this a hot minute. And so how do you efficiently, genuinely and authentically, take your take your abilities and try to put them as part of your whole culture, so that folks will look to you for leadership and guidance, but then build up that trust that they can go out and take care of what needs to be taken care of, and you have that trust in them. It's funny, that you're you spend your whole time trying to figure out ways to kind of let go in something that you spend your whole life building towards, like running a camp. So it is funny that this time of year, it's a lot of, and I think it's the appropriate time. This is when what's the
Mhm.
word I'm looking for? The dust is settled now, right? We are there. And so thinking about those foundational elements to your experience, like, what is the culture here? What is the culture of care? What is the culture of programming? What is the culture of belonging? How are we branding ourselves to make sure we're attracting the right folks to help us deliver on our promise to our customers?
Well, and a big part of that too, in this recruitment effort, in this retention effort, because it's a cycle, right? We're not just, living inside of a bubble, and having in at another time done, like, started a camp from nothing. Even in that, you're still promoting some kind of to be camp employee experience. The biggest part of this, and what's going to help bind your staff on that first day and help them do the hard job that is being a group counselor, is going to be meeting expectations. And so if in your recruitment and if in your job hiring season, you're talking about how your camp is just the place to be, it's going to be, you're going to fit right in. It's like family. It's the best experience you're ever going to have. And then day one shows up and you have folks, raking wood chips out under the ropes course. You're not meeting those expectations, you're going to lose folks. And so part of building up that culture of care and the promotion of that culture to folks is also going to be living through your actions. And, part of that is kind of why we're chatting here today. And part of that can be Deer Scout. Part of that can be a program like this. And because it's one piece of that whole culture. Because I think like plugging in those elements and plugging in actual tangible experiences that are showing that you care for your staff is what's going to help to, you know, keep people going and decrease resentment in your staff.
Last question. Did you put that Boston Red Sox pennant up just because you knew you were talking to ACA New England today?
I don't think you can't say on my other wall. I have the Times magazine from when they
Okay.
won in 2004. No, I
Okay.
am.
All right. Her bona fides are good, friends. It's not for show.
My
For those of
goodness.
you who don't know, Liz operates out of the West Coast, and so that's why I was a little suspect of my my
I
adopted homeland.
know. Oh my gosh.
All
I'm a big Red
right. Well,
Sox fan.
Liz, thank you so much. I look forward to checking in with you again in a couple months. And for
Yes.
folks who might want to find you between now and the next time you and I chat, how might they do that?
So you can visit mydeerscout.com. We don't have any kind of social media stuff hanging out, but you can feel free to go on there. And my contact information's all over that, as well as the contact information for our head clinician, Molly Carl. And she's also a great resource too for stuff like this.
Thank you so much. Take care until next time.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me.